So I just got done watching the brand new Indonesian horror film, The Haunted Apartment, Miss K, which is, I guess, a sequel or something to The Haunted Hotel, which is a Hitmaker Studios Rocky Soraya produced film. I watched two others of his films previously this year that are both on Netflix, Sumala as well as The Curse of the Seven Seas or The Curse of the Seven Oceans, depends on where you look. Netflix it's called Seas, on IMDb it's Oceans. I don't know why. But regardless, you know, this film was really sending me for a loop because I didn't remember the Haunted Hotel perfectly because I watched it last year along with literally 300 other 2024 horror films. But while I was watching this, I was trying to like connect the two, and then I was like realizing like, oh, this is a different location. This is like its own thing. Okay, that's fine. But so much of it was feeling so similar, and I was like, okay, am I crazy here, or is this not basically the exact same film? Like, just kind of like a different set dressing, right? Like, so in the first one, you have, to my memory, you have a two sisters. One is quite a bit older than the other one, and she is like her guardian now because their parents have passed on. And she used to date in that movie a cop or a detective, and they broke up like 6 months ago. And when she comes to the hotel, they are like put together because he's investigating a case there of someone who has died, and they are dealing with the owners who are talking to them about and like trying to hide the fact that there's something wrong there because they don't want to lose out on business, and it's like a big secret. And in that movie it's the third floor. And the point of what I'm trying to get to is almost identically everything that I'm talking about is the same but slightly altered. Like, it is still two sisters. She is dating a cop. He is investigating a murder that took place around there. It was in that hotel, but it happened outside of the hotel. All the same things. Now, in the first one, it's the third floor, and when you go in the room, when they're lured in by the ghost, it tells you in 3 days you'll die at midnight. In this one, it's on the sixth floor, and when you are lured into the room by the woman and her kid, they've added a kid, she tells you that you're going to die in 4 days at sunset. And then, you know, they're basically trying to uncover the secret of what is happening to save their lives. And as they continue to investigate, they find out things. And this plays out like every horror film that has this kind of trope, this kind of gimmick, you know, where they're trying to like find the remains so they can put her to rest. You know, it's the classic trope of tropes. And much like the first film, the deaths, there's like a couple ones that we see that are very cool. This one has some pretty gruesome deaths. There's not a lot of them, but the opening one, I was like, holy shit, that was actually pretty gnarly. It's an aftermath. It's not, you don't actually see it happen, but you do see it happen again later to someone or someone's to a couple other people. And those are good. Those are good. Those are really good graphic kills. So I liked that. The film looks good. I think the action in this is actually directed pretty well. I think the director actually has a pretty good eye for action because there's some fight sequences between characters. And I was like, oh, I feel like this person would be pretty good at directing action. The horror is extremely tropey. This feels like Rocky Soraya, who is becoming like Jason Blum, and Hitmaker Studios is becoming like the Indonesian Blumhouse. He's just cranking out kind of rinse, lather, repeat, feeds his last script into a AI algorithm and pumps out like just a slightly different version. You can't make, because this is technically like, it says it's a sequel even though the titles are different, but yeah, it's the exact same story. You're plagiarizing yourself. It was weird watching this, having watched the film a year ago. I honestly thought I was going crazy because I was like, this. Had it been a little bit more of a separation of time and someone threw this on, I would be like, I've seen this movie. Like, that's how similar it is. Where I'd be like, no, I watched this movie. Like, this happens, this happens, this happens. And then when it all happens, I'd be like, yeah, I saw this movie. But I didn't see this movie. So it's a remake, sort of. It's weird. What an odd thing to do for a sequel that is only 1 year later. I mean, I don't think that you should do this in general. Kind of like remake your own film with like a different title and different characters, but make it all exactly the same. I know studios can do that. I know that Hollywood can do that. I know plenty of different studios can do that. So it's not something completely new. It was just an odd experience because having watched so many movies last year, I actually had to start questioning my memory of things because I was like, is this not the exact same film, but things are different? Because I was trying to connect like how they were sequels, and then I'm like, the only reason these are sequels is because they're the same movie, but that doesn't really make it a sequel. It makes it more of a remake. So yeah, I don't I I don't know. I gave the last film like a two and a half on Letterboxd. I'm probably similarly here on my rating. So it's not very good. It's very very classic tropey Indonesian horror that doesn't really offer anything interesting, unique, different, memorable, right? And they had two attempts at it, and both attempts kind of turned out the same. Like with Evil Dead 1 and 2, which is probably the example of it working out, the rare instance where you kind of remake your own film and everyone's kind of confused of like, is this supposed to be a sequel? Is this supposed to be, even with that movie, with Bruce Campbell coming back to play the literal same character, looking the exact same, having a pretty similar framework. We've always been very confused on what that is. One could actually argue, having now just sat down and watched Edge of Tomorrow, that's like a looped day. He dies at the end of the first one, and then he loops the day, but he like doesn't remember it, and it's like slightly altered. That's actually a better explanation than I've ever come up with before. But regardless, this film, on the other hand, it just doesn't improve upon anything. At least with Evil Dead, I feel like they have a better budget, they have a better idea of what they are, and they deliver on a lot of the things they couldn't achieve in the other film. With this one, it just genuinely feels like we're going to do the exact same film and try to trick the audience and just kind of like, they're idiots and we'll just give them the same slop again, and they'll like it and they'll eat it and give us the money. I think that's how it feels. It almost feels insulting. So it's not a recommendation. What a weird experience. Don't make the exact same film again. That's crazy. What a weird movie. All right. Well, it's on Netflix if you want to check it out. It's not a recommendation, obviously. Adios.